listening to this, right? And what amazes me, Mims, is the fact that, I'm looking at the window, right? So I'm looking at the 4 years where, of course, to the average eye, to the typical eye, that may seem long, but to us, it's like, it's still in the embryo stages. But the fact that you were able, right, to transition from one world to the other, retain the information, and disseminate it, right? Yeah. As if you went to school for this motherfucker.
No, absolutely. I mean, and that in itself is not easy, and I'll tell you why. Because when I walk into a room, even in the tech world, I'm still looked at, first of all, as an African American. So there's not that many of us in that world, and then I'm looked at as a rapper. And then when you looked at as a rapper and African American, people feel like you're going to exuberate a certain amount of ignorance, and you're really only here for either the check or some sort of endorsement. And I take a strong stance against that, because I always say to myself, look, for those who don't know about my career, if you look at my albums, I executive produce them. I was never signed as an artist. I was the creator, the owner of a label. I was always a businessman. Right. As short-lived as people may think my career was, the reason why I was able to survive longer than a lot of these other artists is because when it came time to the other stuff, at least the ancillary stuff, I had 100% ownership.
There you go.
You was
looking at longevity. I mean,
absolutely. Right. I mean, because who knows? I mean, you're right, because you could have one big, huge record, in my case, or you could have 10 junior records, as you want to call it. But you still, no matter how you attack the situation, you always got to attack it to say, I don't know how long this is going to last. Let me try to get as much as I can. But back to my point with like blockchain and when this got delivered to me, and this is why I say this is my get even moment, is because I said to myself, okay, this system of checks and balances, this verification process that exists now, how could this help out the music industry? $2.5 billion in unpaid royalties goes collected. Right. Was uncollected. Right. And the reason why is because it could be as simple as my name being misspelled on a record in another country that doesn't have a performance rights agency going to collect for me. What happens with this money in most cases is that at the end of the year, it gets divvied up between all of the major publishings, record labels, et cetera, They like to divvy this money up in what is considered like this black box. So a lot of the times, people bank on errors. Right. Because, I mean, literally banking on an error. Man. So how do we stop this? How do we create a system that changes this? And me and my team realized that blockchain technology not only works in those other worlds, because we can talk about that in a second, but the way it works in the music world is that we can offer full transparency to anyone. That means that you know where your music is, what it's generating, and in real time you're getting paid off of it. So that artist, right, has the ability to see, right, in real time, and get paid in real. It doesn't go to record label X, Y, and Z. Right. It goes right to the artist.
Literally seeing, right, that process
in real time. And so what we decided to do was, I created another company called Tune Software. And what we decided to do was use Recordgram as one of the first use cases for the company, for the tokenized ecosystem. And the dope part about it is that right now we're integrating the two. So I have two companies that subsequently, if you really think about it, they don't necessarily belong together, but we're putting them together.
But they go hand in hand.
And they go hand in hand. So there's a lot of cool things that come from the tokenized from the Tune token ecosystem that are going to enhance the Recordgram app. One thing I mentioned was the full transparency in payments. The other was a reward system. So this is not a knock against other streaming platforms. No. But you have a lot of platforms out there that, like, say you call me up and you're like, man, you need to check this artist out, and you send them to me. The artist benefits, yes, I get it, they should. The label benefits, the big company behind it benefits, the streaming platform benefits, but you don't. Right. And so with the tokenized ecosystem we're building, we're allowing fans to get rewarded for sharing music, because that's how music gets spread in the first place.
Clearly.
So then now you get to see your influence on an artist. So there may be an artist on Recordgram that you say, you know what, I like this artist. Now not only do you get incentivized to kind of share their content, but you get rewarded for it in Tune token. And obviously this is a token that carries a certain amount of value. So that's essentially what that ecosystem is bringing to Recordgram, and we're in the process of building that. So not only do I have one tech company that's won a bunch of accolades and awards, and we've done great with in the music space, but we have another one in the blockchain space that's also breaking down barriers and plans to help artists in the future. And the reason why I say I love blockchain, and I talk about some of the industries that it's already disrupted. And I'm not a financial planner. I'm not telling people how to invest their money, so don't take that from this. But how I learned about what blockchain meant is I looked at Bitcoin.
Keyword meant. All right, y'all? Yeah.
I said, okay, why has this become so popular? So I had to break it down. This is the way I break it down to people. When I broke it down to myself like this, and how I break it down to people. I deal with the banks all the time. I have several bank accounts that I've kept several amounts of money in, and anytime I got to send someone money, and I do a lot of deals with people internationally, I got to have my bank communicate with theirs.
Of course.
So if I'm dealing with a country, let's say Dubai, and I'm having either transfer come in or transfer go out, I know that there's a middleman in that process. So not only are they getting a piece of the transfer, they're getting a piece of the exchange rate. They're taking so much from it. By the time I get that money, I've already gotten less of the money.
Right.
And I get it. I'm not here to kill the banking system because that runs the world. Yeah, but the truth of the matter is that it's a middleman.
Right.
And what I've learned, what Bitcoin did was these individuals created this system blockchain. Then they created this Bitcoin, and what it did was it said, okay, if you live in Japan and you live in the Ivory Coast, and I live in Brazil, we could all exchange this currency or whatever the case is without taking a hit from this middleman. Obviously, there's a lot of shady stuff that goes on too in the underworld.
You listen, right? So I sit here and I listen, right? What gets me, man, is the fact that the ability to remain patient, right? Once again, retaining this information, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But when you love something and you want it and you realize that it will, because we look at a career. Sometimes people you could take on that selfish mindset, right? But as an artist and the love for the culture, you retain it so that it can be easily disseminated to a slew of people around the world that love the art. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it boils down to there's a problem that exists. Who's trying to solve it? Nobody. And I got to the point with me in my career, I'm like, okay, all of these guys came before me, went through the same problems, and then I don't hear too many people being vocal about it.
Right.
I didn't see too many. And this is not a knock. I'll keep it 100% real. I'm a huge Jay-Z fan musically. I listened to the 4/4 album, and I related to a lot of the things he said because I went through a lot of that those process. Some of the things he said because I went through some of the process, and I said to myself, "Damn, where was this 10 years ago for me?" And it's not to knock anyone from a timing standpoint, but for me, I felt like there were so many OGs in the game that went through what I went through. Why didn't I kind of get the hey young blood, watch this or watch that? So I kind of feel like for me, I went through what I went through, but for to get to this point where I actually feel like the information I have, I want to pass back or up or down or whatever.
Right. So let me ask you something. How some of them artists, have they reached out? Have they sort of congratulated you and in your travels?
What's crazy? My career, I've been so quiet. I've been so on the left. I'm not the dude that's I'm not the social media guy. I'm quietly in the corner, cultivating and thinking of ways to change certain things about what I've been through. And what's happening now that I respect and appreciate, that there have been several individuals, especially behind the scenes, that have come and commended what we're trying to do, the effort we're trying to make. Once again, I'm not here to change the whole game. I'm giving my piece. I'm changing my piece. I'm changing what I know and what I've been through, and hopefully, it'll encourage other people to do the same.
Evolution.
Absolutely.
But Mims, I had to bring this up, man. The last time I seen you prior to Sunday, man, It was at a DJ event, and you had sneakers.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was.
Yeah.
Man, like I said, I was taken aback by that, and the sneakers was jazzed up. Like I'm like.
Yeah. I tell you what that was. I was in Europe at the time, and my agent called me. He's like, "Yeah, I got a gift for you," and he was like, "We're gonna bring a gentleman by the hotel. He's gonna give you a pair of sneakers. He just wants a picture." Now, I get it, because everybody has a hustle, but I had pulled him to the side when he brought the sneakers to me. I said, "Look, man," I said, I don't need your sneakers. I could go buy my own." I said, "So what do you really need from me? Because maybe I can assist and help you." And I told him, I said, if I could bring certain things to the table, I want a piece of the company. Mm-hmm. And I did that, and that's what I held up my end of the bargain, and now I got a piece of the company. So I feel as an artist, and I have this conversation with other artists too as well. Not in the sense, most of them probably don't listen because you could. I remember when things were like super, super hot for me. And
I was still super, super hot.
On the yeah, I know. Exactly. Not behind the scenes like I am, but in the public eye. And I remember I would get calls from different brands like, "Yo, can you do this?" And I would turn a lot of them down. And here's the reason why. I don't need a check. I want equity.
Of course.
And I'm not saying that everybody deserves equity, but if you asking for me to be involved with something in the building of a brand, and I'm putting my name on something, I want a piece of it.
Listen, y'all. We just went through business 101 in a matter of about a half an hour. Please, artists, please, producers, please, the world, take heed. Take heed, because you're not going to get it. I mean, and this was raw. Man.
I say this too, this is crazy, because we talk about something, like even in the tech world, I'm getting my foot in the door. I would never say my foot is completely in the door.
Right.
Because you never have that mentality until you're sitting at the round table with certain individuals, and I'll know when that time comes. But even in the tech world, one of the biggest things I'm disappointed behind is I look at some of these platforms, and I see, and there's no, I meet the people who run the platform, so it's like, this is going to sound a little two-sided,
no.
But the truth is that I see the people who run the platform, and I'm happy for them, and I'm happy that there's people in this tech world that can take an idea from its inception and become billionaires, not overnight, but through time, and be young and extremely young. But the problem is that the power of celebrity has got them there, but the celebrity's got no piece of it,
right.
Nothing. So even me as an entrepreneur, and I say to the people out there and anybody watching, if y'all looking. I'm looking to get my foot more in the door, because when that happens, my goal is I'm gonna open the door for a lot of people that don't think that door can open for them.
And I'm glad that you brought that in. And I don't want to make it a black and a white thing, but but it saddens me, that we don't have these opportunities. Oh, we possibly may have the opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. But don't take advantage of it. You know what I mean? So I think that sort of having you sit here, right, opens a door, right, mm-hmm. to our audience, because anything can be done. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of being patient, doing homework, right, mm-hmm. and getting inspired. You can inspire someone.
Absolutely. I mean, and there's a lot of people to blame. And I'll say this: there's a lot of people and situations to blame. I think, especially as it relates to like the urban environments, as they call them. And the education system,
yeah, of course.
Because we look. I grew up in Wash Heights. I went to school in District 5 most of my life. I graduated Westbury High School, and I look at the education system sometimes and I question it. I don't know how much has changed, and then I don't want to get off topic. Okay, I'm not going to shoot and get off topic, but the point is that my goal is to create awareness in these industries that are not building awareness in. So technologies, be it one of them, it's nothing to sit a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old in front of a computer and teach them about coding. It's nothing. They're doing it all the time in Japan and in certain countries in Asia. They're doing it all the time in certain areas in India, which is why when you talk about the tech world, these countries dominate all the time, because we don't look at that as an industry. We look at sports, entertainment. We look at certain things, but we don't consider all these different industries. Technology, to me, is one of the most important industries of the future. So
Mims, in the process of actually transitioning into that world, it was all part of the game plan, right? To increase the levels of not only, enhancing who you are, but the ability to have people gravitate towards this world. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And letting it be known that there is a platform for us. You know what I mean? But
Absolutely.
you have to be willing to teach. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so, Mims, man, we can go, you and I can go on, man.
Nah, look.
I just wanted to, let the world know, man, that Recordgram is here to stay. This brother right here and a slew of other individuals behind it will take it to, oh man, I can't. You know what? I'm not even gonna give it a time slot. I mean, it's here to stay, man. Recordgram, we appreciate you. Any other?
No, check it out, support it, man. Recordgram. For all those that's watching, if you know somebody that's looking for an opportunity, there's plenty of opportunities involved with the app on the music side. Check it out. Producers, artists, download Recordgram. We here.